Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm outside on my porch again. Let's see if I can get some better lighting happening here. And hopefully some of you will hop on to join me. Today, I'm talking about how our behaviors with food really mimic our behaviors with money. So hopefully some of you guys can hop on and join me. I'm just going to check and see that this is broadcasting because I'm using a new platform. So let's see. Perfect. Okay. Hey guys. Okay, so I've got this on my phone and I'm on the computer. I'm trying to make it all work together. So thanks for popping in and say hello if you're here so I can see who you are. Hey, Yvonne, nice to see you. All right, so I'm going to dive in because, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Denise Duffield-Thomas, and right now she's running her quiz called the Sacred Money-Archetypes. Hopefully I said that word right. It's such a weird word. Anyways, I wanted to talk about how our relationship with food and money mimic each other because this has come up for a lot of my clients. It's something that I work on myself. So for me, my relationship with food is pretty good. That's kind of my wheelhouse. It's what I teach. So if you're new to my live stream, I'm a nutrition and life coach, and I work with women who've been struggling with food and their bodies their entire lives. And I also work with entrepreneurs who know that they have to step into a new responsibility for taking care of their health if they want to have the business success that they want to have. Because you can't be successful in business if your health is falling apart. End of story. So our relationship with money and food really mimic each other. So if you haven't taken Denise's quiz yet, you can find it at lisacarpenter.ca /money quiz. And you can find out who you are. Now, I don't know if you guys have taken this test yet or not. If you have, pop it in the comments. Hey, Yvonne. Hello, Shannon. Gina's here. That's good. I have. And I came up as a nurturer. Not surprising at all. So Yvonne, what did you come up with on your quiz? I'd be very curious to know. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the archetypes. Just kind of where I see this relationship with food. So I'm going to give a little bit of insight without giving everything away. You came up as a romantic. Interesting, Gina. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Yvonne, you're an accumulator. Okay, so we're going to go through the different kind of archetypes and what I see in relationship with food. So I'm going to talk from a food perspective, not a money perspective. But if you want to go find out what your relationship with money, do this quiz, because I believe that healing our relationship with food, with money, they're all interwoven. So it's interesting because some women can be really strong with their money mindset and then they struggle with their food, or vice versa, but there's usually crossover. And I talk a lot about this with my clients. So an accumulator, what we usually see in the way that this would relate to food is you really don't trust yourself with food. You like to have lots of stuff in the house all the time. So there's this belief that there's never really going to be enough. And one of the things I talk to my clients about is you can have whatever you want to eat. You can eat whatever you want to eat, but don't keep it in your house. Like, there's stores. Most of us live in places where we have easy access to food. Like, hop in your car, drive to the 7-Eleven if you want the chocolate bar and have the chocolate bar, but don't keep chips, chocolate, pop, like the things that you know are trigger foods for you that you're going to want to eat. Don't keep them in your house, because there is this piece around not really trusting yourself with food, not really trusting yourself to make good decisions, and feeling like you almost need to hang on to it. So there might be a little safety piece around that as well. Like, you look at food as being safety. So hopefully that resonates a little bit. Was anybody an alchemist? I'm curious to know if anybody was an alchemist. So an alchemist, when it relates to food, they kind of know what's good, but they're kind of resentful about it. So they want to have their cake and eat it too, so to speak. Makes sense. They know what they should be doing, but gets annoyed at the fact that they have to make choices with it. So that's a little bit about an alchemist. So that might resonate with you with your food. If you don't like rules around it, if you don't like having to play by the rules, but we all know we need a certain amount of rules. And I look at rules really as boundaries. They're flexible boundaries, right? We're allowed to push up against them. You're an alchemist, right, Gina? Okay, so that makes total sense to you, right? Like you're stomping your feet about knowing that you have to make changes, but you don't really want to. Like you don't want to follow the rules. You want to do your own thing. But at the same time, you're really pissed off about the relationship you're having with your food and your body. It's not working for you. Okay, so that's an alchemist. Celebrity. Celebrities love to indulge. They try and pretend like they don't care. I don't care I'm eating the cake. I don't care I'm drinking all the wine. I don't care I'm doing all these things. But behind closed doors, they really, really do. And they tend to be highly critical of themselves when it comes to their relationship with food. So in the moment, they can be totally indulgent. And I'm so good. I'm totally fine with this. And then after the fact, they're the ones that are really picking up the stick and beating themselves up for the choices that they made. But they'll repeat the process over and over and over again. Was anybody a celebrity? Anybody a celebrity? Then we have our connectors. And our connectors, they kind of don't worry about things too much, but they really kind of want someone else to do it for them. So they're the people that will, buy the prepackaged foods. They want someone to cook the food and bring it to them. How can they get a meal service? Like they're always looking for ways that are going to fix the problem without them actually having to do the work themselves of fixing the problem. That's kind of a connector. I don't know if any of you got connector. Mavericks. Who are my mavericks in the house? So my mavericks tend to be, I can identify them as clients. My mavericks tend to be my clients who are A-type personalities. So a lot of my entrepreneurial clients will fit into this. They can do anything for a short amount of time and they can do it well. So they will jump on the information. They will execute everything. They will get crazy mad results. And then they have a hard time sustaining it, right? We all have mixes of all of these, Gina. There's no one, like we have leading archetypes that kind of drive our behaviors, but we all have a little bit of everything. And again, I'm looking at how it relates to money and then twisting it into, how this would relate to your food. So your mavericks, those all or nothing types, they're super awesome at dieting. They can follow a plan, they can lose the weight, but then staying consistent with it, they're not so good at. They can make things happen really, really quickly, but they're not really able to sustain. So in the long run, they're like pros at losing weight, but they're still caught in that hamster wheel all the time, over and over and over again. And like I said, I see this a lot with my entrepreneurial clients. The nurturer. So I am a nurturer. I know that's shocking. I think I would say a really high portion of the clientele that I work with tend to be nurturers. So these are people who tend to be deep feelers, more empathetic people. We tend to lack boundaries. I don't know what you are, Raj. You're gonna have to take the money archetype quiz and find out what you come up as and see if it resonates. Like when you read through it and go, okay, how would I relate this to food, and see how it would relate to food for you. I have to think about you, Roz. Let me think about what I think you would probably fall into. So the nurturer lacks boundaries. We will take care of everybody and everything at the expense of our own health. I look like I'm naked. I do have a top on. We will take care of everything else at our own expense. So it usually means that we're not taking care of our health because we're busy taking care of everything else, from our families to our businesses, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, we compromise. We compromise other areas in our lives because we're so busy taking care of everybody else. So I know that's not shocking that I'm a nurturer, and I've seen that happen with my money, where, you know, I would give things away for free all the time. I would give away my time. I would always be helping people out with my money. So I would literally throw myself under the bus financially to make sure that other people were supported. And I did this with business partners, and in a lot of my relationships. It just hasn't been healthy for me. So I've had to really make peace with, it's safe for me to take care of myself financially. So I want you to look at how you use that in terms of food. So with food, like, are you so busy taking care of everybody else that at the end of the day, you're not sitting down and eating healthy meals, right? You're making sure all your kids get healthy stuff, but you're not taking care of yourself. So just check that, right? You're so overextended with everything that there's no time for you. Did anybody get romantic? I'm just curious if anybody got romantic. So my romantics, they love indulging. They love being permissive. They love, like, oh my God, it's like we're out for dinner and I have to have the ice cream, right? Or the cake or the whatever. They love being indulgent, and they're very easily can be permissive. So you can set all the rules, and then all of a sudden you're faced with that choice of yes or no. And you're like, oh, but it's so amazing. I have to have this. I have to have this. The thought of making a choice around saying yes or no, because with food, it is a choice, right? You can say yes or you can say no. It's not should or shouldn't. But the thought of even having to make a choice really pisses you off if you're a romantic. You don't want to make a choice. You don't want to have to say no to yourself. It feels restrictive. And when you come up against restrictive, that's when all your resistance shows up. So Gina, again, I'm not surprised that you got romantic. And then there's the ruler. And this, like, if I had to look at my own previous relationship with food, I would probably put myself into the category of ruler. So although I'm a nurturer with money, I used to be more of a ruler with food, right? Because I always put myself first in terms of taking care of my health and my nutrition, but I didn't do that with my money. When it came to food, though, I would fall more into the category of ruler. So I really looked at everything had to be just perfect and just so. Everything was measured out and weighed and da-da-da. And this was going back to my competing days, right? I'm not like that anymore. I still do weigh and measure my food occasionally, depending on what my goals are, but I'm not like, I don't really carry a cooler bag around with me anymore. Whereas back in the day, I always had a cooler bag with me. I always had my food with me. Now I'm so confident in my ability to choose when I'm out. I don't worry about it. But I was really not restrictive with food, but I was very like on point with it. It was all about control. And my outward appearance, I really used it to mask my own low self-worth and low self-esteem, right? So if I looked a certain way, if I performed a certain way, if I did this or did that in the gym, on the stage or whatever, that was kind of how I used to mimic the things that were going on underneath it. So that's kind of a ruler. It was always driven by fear, like, oh my God, I can't put on 5 pounds or 10 pounds. Whereas now, like, my weight goes up, my weight goes down. It's not a big deal. I know what I need to step in to do if I want to change something, and I don't obsess about it. It's just a non-issue. So those are kind of the different archetypes. So if you haven't taken the money archetypes, because I know most of my clients also struggle with their money mindset. This has been something I've been working on now in my life for probably 2-3 years now. I've been working on it, and it's amazing how much has changed for me from not just the level of income that I'm earning now, but my ability to clear my debt. And that came because of huge mindset work, my ability to still live debt-free, which is amazing to me, and step into all the different things that I wanted to have in my life that was eluding me because of my relationship with money. You can't run a profitable business if you are not comfortable asking for and receiving money. It's kind of a problem, guys. It's kind of like you can't lose weight if you're not willing to eat some vegetables and say no to having pizza every single night of the week. You have to start looking at your stories related to the relationship you're having with food, having with money. It's the mindset piece that is getting in the way of us achieving the goals we want long term. So if we're always just focusing on paying down our debt, but we're not looking at our relationship with money, you're never going to get out of debt. If you're only focused on trying to lose weight, but you're not actually looking at what's driving your behaviors behind food, chances are you're not going to lose weight, or you'll lose weight and you'll put it back on, or you'll pay off your debt and you'll rack it back up again. I was a queen bee at that, so I get it. So if you haven't taken the quiz yet, hop in, take the quiz. Denise is also going to be running a webinar. Where is she running the webinar? I had to write notes. Tomorrow, is today the 6th? It's on June 7th. It'll be at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So whatever time zone you're in, you can work that out. And you can get all the details on that at lisacarpenter.ca/money code. It's a totally free webinar. She'll be talking about her program at the end of the webinar, but you guys are all grown up women. If it's something you're interested in, then hop in. And if you're not, that's cool. You're still going to get amazing content from her webinar. I love her stuff. I tend to go through all of it. She's been really a huge part in my money transformation. That's why I introduce her to my clients. I love her kind of laid back approach to everything, and the ease and flow of her business. I look to her as a business mentor as well. So I love introducing her to my community. So if you guys get value out of it, awesome. So again, go back and do the money quiz if you haven't, lisacarpenter.ca/money quiz. Find out your archetype, look at the different archetypes, and then question like, okay, well, which ones would I fall into in regards to my food? How would this look for me? And learn about your relationship with money. And if you want, register for her webinar on the 7th. And find out more about the different archetypes. I think she's going to be diving even deeper into how they're impacting you and the changes that you need to make so that you can step into having a relationship with money that you will really be proud of. And that's what I can say for me is I am really proud of the relationship I have with money now. And I know that sounds weird, but we are having a relationship with food, and we are having a relationship with money. And to be able to talk about money neutrally now without being triggered, like feeling like I'm bad for talking about it, or, money isn't something we should talk about. Because growing up in my house, money wasn't something we were supposed to talk about. Like, it's none of your business. Don't talk about it. And that's still, the belief that my parents hold. And that's awesome for them. And that's not how I want to live. I want to be able to have open conversations about money because it really is neutral. Food is neutral. Money is neutral. We just give it meaning, like we decide to attach meaning to something. So that's a whole other rant for another day. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you got to kind of think about it, and thinking about your relationship with food and kind of how you manage it. By all means, leave a comment. If you want me to come back, I always circle back around to comments. If this was helpful for you, please share it out. I will be back broadcasting next Monday at 11 o'clock. I'm not sure what topic I'm going to be talking on. I'm trying to come up with a whole list of topics with my team so that I can give you guys notice in advance. I'm going to be using this platform now, which is Be Live, which means I will post a notification of when I'm going live. You can sign up. And then when I go live, you're going to get an actual notification, which makes it so much easier to follow along. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. It's always cool hanging out with you guys when I'm sitting on my porch. And yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to go back to ticking off things on my to-do list so that I can head into the week feeling like I've been incredibly productive today. And for any of my EAT members, if you guys are on now, don't forget we have a live group coaching call tonight. So I will see you guys all at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time inside our private Zoom room where we're going to dig into, I don't know what we're going to dig into, but we're going to dig into some stuff. Those calls are always great. So until next Monday, have a fantastic week. I hope wherever you are taking very good care of yourself. If you have the opportunity to get outside and get in the sun, do it. Nature is healing, and self-care is not indulgent. It is a mandatory part of you showing that you care about yourself. And that's what you build your foundation of self-worth and self-love on. So get outside and enjoy. See you guys next week. Bye.